So you've done all the work. The analysis is sharp, your insights are brilliant, and the path forward seems so obvious. But then you present it, and crickets. You get blank stares, or maybe a polite, "we'll get back to you." Well, here's the hard truth. The most brilliant analysis in the world is useless if you can't get other people on board. So today we're diving into how to turn those incredible findings into actual action.
Okay, and before we really jump in, just a quick heads up. This explainer comes straight from Chapter 9 of a tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. It's all about presenting your findings and getting that crucial buy-in from your organization.
You know, it's an incredibly common and frankly frustrating problem, isn't it? You pour all this time and energy into a project, you do a thorough assessment, but then nothing happens. It feels like your findings just hit a wall. It turns out the analysis itself is really only half the battle. The final hurdle, and the one we so often forget, is all about communication.
So let's try to reframe how we think about this whole process. Communication isn't just the last thing you do. No way. It's actually the critical bridge that connects your analysis to real, tangible action. Without that bridge, your amazing report is, well, it's just a document.
And this right here is the absolute heart of the matter. Stakeholder commitment, or buy-in, is the true difference maker. It's what separates a program that actually drives change from a report that just ends up gathering dust on a shelf. So the real question we need to answer is, how do we earn that commitment?
Well, it all starts with recognizing that a one-size-fits-all presentation just doesn't cut it. Your stakeholders are not all the same. They have different priorities, they worry about different things, and you know what? They basically speak different languages. To really get through to them, you've got to tailor your message.
Just think about who you're talking to for a second. Each group is looking at this through a totally different lens. Your executives, they're thinking big picture, business risk, return on investment. You have to be concise and get straight to the strategic value. Managers, on the other hand, they're on the front lines. They need the practical details. How will this impact their team? What are the timelines? And then you have your employees. For them, it really just boils down to one simple question: what's in it for me? You have to connect your message directly to their daily lives and show them the benefits.
So, knowing what to say is one thing, but how you say it is just as important. Instead of drowning people in data, use things like charts and graphs to make complex info easy to digest. And don't just throw statistics at them, tell a story. A single, real-world story can be so much more powerful than a percentage. And this last one is huge. Frame your findings as an opportunity to get better, not as a criticism of what went wrong in the past.
Okay, once you've tailored your message, the next step is to package it all up into a formal business case. Now, this isn't just another document. Think of it as the tool you're going to use to translate your technical findings into a powerful business argument that leadership literally cannot ignore.
A really killer business case usually has these 4 parts. You start with the problem, but, and this is key, you put it in business terms. What's the real financial risk here? Then you present your solution not as a cost, but as a smart investment to lower that risk. From there, you lay out a super clear cost-benefit analysis. And finally, you build a ton of trust by showing you've already thought about the potential roadblocks with a proactive risk analysis.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Your goal is to move the conversation away from all the technical jargon and speak the one language that everybody in the business understands, the language of money and strategy. And when you lay out that cost-benefit analysis, be thorough. Be upfront about the costs, development, staff time, all of it. But then you pivot to the huge value on the benefits side. We're talking about fewer security incidents, better compliance, and a much stronger security culture overall. When you see it all laid out like this, it becomes pretty obvious that the long-term benefits totally outweigh the upfront investment.
All right, let's talk about the final, crucial piece of this puzzle. Getting that buy-in isn't a one-time event. It's not about a single great presentation. It's a continuous process that needs a real strategy. It's all about playing the long game.
And this timeline here shows you exactly what that long game looks like. Notice when the engagement starts. It's not at the presentation step. It begins way back in the planning phase. You bring stakeholders in early, you give them regular updates to keep them in the loop, you deliver those tailored presentations we talked about, and you keep that conversation going all the way through implementation and beyond. It's not a single event, it's a campaign.
And this is the ultimate reward for all that effort. When you do this right, you're not just presenting to an audience anymore. Through that early and continuous engagement, you actually transform them into partners. They become people who are just as invested in the success of this solution as you are. So let's end with this one question. The next time you finish a big analysis, don't just ask yourself if the findings are solid. Stop and ask yourself this: is my communication strategy ready? Because ultimately, that's what's going to determine whether all your hard work actually makes a difference.